Okay, so we're going to be starting on the inside of page 1. So you have your built folio. This is the front flap. This is the outside. This is the front cover. You're going to open it and you're going to get to C. So this is the inner part of C, the flap you built with the 3/8 of an inch gusset. So we're going to be working on this page. I put this behind here so you can see it. So this is what we're going to be working on, C. So first thing you're going to do, let me show you what we're going to be building. This is a very simple page just with a photo mat. You are going to be cutting black cardstock, a photo mat that is 5 1/4 by 6 1/4. 5 1/4 by 6 1/4. The size of this photo mat, I used this paper, the Patterns and Solids from the Graphic 45 that I talked about from Hip Hip Hooray. You're cutting a 1/2 inch strip for each side that's going to be covering here. So 1/2 inch strips. This inner part, you are not going to be using this paper. We only have one sheet of this paper from the collection, which is this. We are going to be needing this whole sheet basically to make this side of one of our pocket pages. I had 2 of the 8x8s packs. The only thing I used that from the second pack was this paper, so not worth buying 2 packs just for this one piece, unless you want it. But what you could do is easily use the solid yellow, and that would look fine right here to fill in the center part here. For once you get this, you're going to be using this paper for the back. So first thing you're going to do is get this paper from the collection, and you are going to cut it to fit your width, just 1/8 of an inch less than your width here, whatever your width is. Mine's like 6 3/8, but you measure yours just to make sure, and you cut it 1/8 of an inch less. Once you do that, you're going to make your notches at 4 inches, and then you're going to adhere this paper down. I inked my edges throughout this whole folio with Vintage Photo, not heavily, but just to get the white out. That's all I did. So once you have this paper in and you have your photo mat, go ahead and add your stripes in the center piece. You're going to be getting this centered. This is going to be 1 inch down from the top, 5/8 of an inch from the inside here. So it's going to be like this. Now I use score tape and to put mine down, but if you want to use glue, you can. Once you have that down, I have this embellishment, which is using, where did I put it? I used a scallop circle die that's 1.5 inches, and then I cut the solid coral color paper, this one, with a die that's 1 3/8 inches. But if you have circle punches, you don't have to use dies, so that coral would go like that. And then I used my 1 1/4 inch circle punch. I used 1 1/4 circle punch, and I put the daisies, this daisy right here, like this. So they just stack on like that. So you got 3 layers. This daisy I cut from, oh, I just had it, from here. This daisy was cut from right here. So you can see that is this. So let me just show this to you up close. So there's your 3 layers. Once you get this down, this was just cut in half, and I just mounted it flush to the edge of the paper of this photo mat. Down here, this is actually from my collection. This is an ephemera butterfly that I had from one other, I'm not sure where it came from, but I had it. But you can use butterflies from any part of this collection and back it on black cardstock like this one. Just fussy cut it out, back it on black cardstock, and it will serve the same purpose. Just adhere it down here and leave the top part open, and then whatever photo you want can slip behind that like that. So there's your 4x6 photo going in there. So this page is pretty straightforward. Then once you open it up, we come to these 2 pocket pages. So for these pockets, what you're going to do is you are going to cut 2 pieces. Let me get them out here. That are 3 1/4 inches wide by 9 1/8. Remember, this is 8 1/8, so you're going to add an inch and cut it 9 1/8, and then you're going to put it in your scoreboard, and you are going to score it at a 1/2 inch on the short sides, 1/2 inch, and on one long side, 1/2 inch. We're going to make a regular pocket. You're going to fold and burnish those 1/2 inch score marks and miter the corners here. So you've taken off the bulk here. So miter those corners. Just cut and miter the top part too of your pocket. Dry fit it in your album. Make sure it's right. And then you're going to adhere it down. So let me show you in your... So you open up flap C, and now you're going on the inside of flap C, and you're going to be adhering it down next to this fold right there. So here's your gusset. There's your 3/8 of an inch gusset right there. So you're going to adhere this down. Do the back flap first. Get that squared up. Make sure you fit it top to bottom. Dry fit it first, and then you're going to adhere this flap down first. Once you have this flap down, I use my black construction tape over this 1/2 inch bit here, just so when you put in anything into the pocket, you're not hitting that lip. You can use Scotch tape too if you wish. Just be mindful, over the years Scotch tape will break down and fall apart, whereas the black construction tape won't. But put that down, and then once you have that down, you can adhere the rest of the pocket down. You're going to put a pocket on this side, and you're going to put a pocket on the top of D. On the other side, you're going to put the other pocket on this side. Disengage that gusset on this side. Put this down, same way as you did the other one. And then you'll have both your pockets in. Pretty simple so far, right? So get your pockets cut, mitered, dry fit. Put your score tape. If you use score tape, you could use glue. You're going to glue it down. So we're going to go to the pocket that is where am I? On the inside of C. So we're going to go to this pocket. Once you have it in, we're going to go ahead and add our designer paper. So for this flap, the inside of C, you are going to be getting this piece. Here's the back side. So you are going to be cutting this part first because you want to get this angel that's on, it's a fairy, that's on her swing. What I did is I cut it 4¼ inches. So it's going to slip underneath the pocket, but I'd probably cut it 4½ inches. Cut it 4½ inches in and slip it in underneath the pocket here. So cut this 4½ inches here, slip it in underneath into the pocket. Make sure you do your notch at 4 inches here. Ink it, put that in, get that down. Then with the rest over here, you're going to be covering this pocket. And I just measure, mine measures 2 1/8. Because this is a 2¼ inch pocket, so 2 1/8. And then ink this paper and get that down. So you're done with this page. On this side, you're going to be doing the same thing, only you're going to be getting this paper. Now with this one, you don't have to do this, but I did. I cut it off. I cut this part off. So I started right here. So I just cut this part off, started with the green. So you can see where I started with. Measured 4½ inches in and cut the paper. And then with what was left over, I covered the pocket on this side. You're going to have some strips left over, and save those strips because you can use them to make some photo mats that can go into that pocket. So save all your strips for your photo mats. So we have this page done. You have this pocket done, this pocket done. The only thing I did is I cut some butterflies from the collection and put them down. And you can do this at the end and go through your butterflies and see which ones you want to put down. But that's the butterfly I put down there. I got that butterfly from here. And this butterfly, there's lots of these butterflies in the collection here. So lots of butterflies on this page. And I put a butterfly down there. I used Wink Stella here on the fairy wings, on the butterflies, and her fairy wings too. So that's it for this, and now we're going to go to the center portion of the folio.